All right, this is Dave Gagnon. This is our expansion team meeting, and I'm just going to open it up for a couple of questions here. And I want to get into sharing dialogue, talking with agents who might be at a company called Exit Realty, and just talk about how we are different and unique compared to that model. Before I get into that, let me just ask, are there any other topics that you guys came in here for today that you're hoping I cover in the final 12 minutes? All right, I see we got a couple of people. Okay, KW versus EXP. Okay, all right, let me cover EXP versus Exit first, and then I'll go into the KW stuff. Remax versus EXP. Um, um, so the KW versus EXP, I'd really like to spend a half hour on that. So if you guys don't mind, let me put that off to our next session, because I really want to dig into all of the stuff, and I'll do another one for Remax versus EXP2. I do have one that I did on KW and one on Remax. They are in the um, EXP Realty YouTube channel. And so if you go in there and you do a search for Dave Gagnon, or do a search for Keller Williams or Remax, you should see that there's maybe a 1 hour or a half hour one that I did in there on each of those two companies. So that should hold you off until I get to re-record them in here. So let me focus on Exit real quick. So with Exit, it's a 70-30 split for the agents, and there's a cap at 100,000, and they have a revenue sharing model that shares off the top also. Theirs, they pay 10%. So the brokerage is really operating on an 80-20 split, with 10% going to the sponsoring agent. And it is paid off of the gross. The cap is 100,000. So if you're talking to agents there that are not attracting other agents, right? They're just doing their business. It's easy with our split being substantially more and our cap being substantially less, right? So that part's easy. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time there. On the revenue share side of it, if you're talking to people who are good at the revenue share at Exit, what they're going to say is, I get 10% on everyone that I attract. Why would I go to work for a company where I only get 3.5%? And that seems to make sense mathematically. However, when you're taking all of the payout at level one, you have zero opportunity for compounding your efforts. What do I mean by that? So I've been here at EXP for about 4.5 years, and I have personally attracted, as of today, 32 agents, right? And so if I were at Exit, I would be getting paid on those 32 if those people, thought that model was as good as this model, right? And so you can do the math and say, with 31 people, I would be making X. The main difference between our companies from the attraction standpoint, right, for the recruiter standpoint or attractologist standpoint, is the compounding effect. And so in my group as of today, I have 616, right? And so because my 31, no other people, and they brought people, we pay through 7 levels. So in my 7 levels, I have a total of 616. I believe I'll have 1,000 by the spring of next year, and I believe I'll be close to 2,000 by the end of next year. Someone had asked, what's the cap at Exit? They cap at 100,000 of GCI.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Quick question on that, because I know where I'm at locally, that once they even go to that, they just go to a 90% split.
Yeah, right, right,
Um,
right. Yeah, yep, yep. Yeah.
okay.
100,000, they stop paying the 20%, and they still pay 10% for the rest of their year. Yep. Thank you very much for that. Yeah,
Great.
attracting the agents out of Exit is not hard at all. Our financial pillar is very strong, very competitive against that model, and you should have no trouble at all. They do very little for training. Agents have got to pay. Now, they're all franchisees, and so each broker owner could have their own wrinkle locally. So, there are some people that try to attract people all over the country and from all kinds of brokerages, and you'll never know everything to give you all the leverages if you do that. If you're focusing in your hometown, your home city, you know who the players are. KW has a different split in every office, or a different cap in every office. Um, Remax can have 5 or 6 different models within a single office. They can be doing the KW model. They can be doing the traditional broker model. They can be doing the Remax model. They can be doing the super Remax model. So without knowing what's going on locally, it's hard to have really intimate conversations with folks unless you spend a lot of time on the needs analysis part of it. And if you're from Exit and you're attracting everyone from Exit, much easier, even if you're doing it across the country, because you know the model really well, or if you came out of Century 21, you know the traditional model really well, and you know the pain points and all of those things. So learn and master something, and you'll get really good at that, and then you can add something else. But when you're talking with people who are doing really well, helping to grow Exit, their main thing is going to be they get 10%. We only pay 3.5%. We actually pay a little over 10%, but we pay it out over 7 levels, and so you get the compounding effect, right? That's the major difference. And what I tell people is this: I've attracted in my group a total of 616, but I don't sell anymore. I'm licensed. I used to sell. I choose not to anymore. And so if I were in the Exit model, who would want to recruit me? Getting 10% of me is 10% of zero. I'm not even going to get a phone call. And then I go out and I attract 616 people through my group. What am I worth to the person trying to recruit me? Zero, because it's all on level 1. Right? So, I mean, it's a fine model. It's just an old model. Ours is far superior. So, I'm going to open it up for questions just on the Exit side first, just so I can wrap up this little video.
Hey, Dave. They have a do they have a franchise fee, right? For an exit for the agents, like 5% or something.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Not 100% sure.
yeah, I wasn't prepared to talk about the agent to agent financial side of it. I didn't break out my folder on it. I was
Oh,
just
okay.
talking about if you're talking to someone who's doing well at attracting agents at Exit, and how does our rev share model compare to what they're doing with their revenue share.
Okay, Roger that.
Any other questions on that side of it? All right, I'm going to stop the recording right there then.